The midfield partnership of Martin Lynch and Sean McGovern is maintained, while the defence is staffed by the same 6 players, with only Anthony Rainbow and Noel Donlan swapping places. And in the last 21 years, Kildare have only managed to beat Dublin twice. It's a rather envious sort of a record that Dublin have over Kildare, and they're hoping today that things will change. Tommy Carr, of course, missed last year's championship because of suspension. He'll be out to prove that this Leinster championship has something special for him. Pat Gilroy there just discussing last-minute tactics before this game gets underway at 3 o'clock. Very large crowd here at Croke Park, by no means packed to capacity. Interestingly, 5,000 to 6,000 tickets were sent back by Kildare, but also, notably, most of those tickets were for the terrace and the canal end. Declan Kerrigan has been certainly the most lethal force in Kildare club football in recent times, and according to John Crofton, one of the Kildare selectors, he's hoping that today this man proves his point and his capabilities. And of course today is a very special day. Ireland playing later on against Italy in the World Cup. My voice just getting a little bit hoarse in expectation, but the tricolour blowing gently in the breeze. It's a crossfield breeze, judging by that tricolour, but looking down on the pitch, it would favour, as we look at it in our commentary position, from right to left. And as the Artane Boys band line up, let me just ask my co-commentator for the day, Colm O'Rourke. First of all, you're very welcome. Your thoughts just before this game starts, Colm?
Well, Kildare are playing with the wind the first half, which is probably a help to them. They would need a good start. They haven't ever got it against Dublin, and if they're ever to win today is the day for them. They will be playing into the railway goal, and they will have a significant wind advantage, and they'll probably need 6 or 7 points by half-time. It's very noticeable that Kildare supporters are very thin on the ground. The canal end very underpopulated, and I think that Dublin have a big majority of the support.
As we pause for our rendezvous. May be absent from the scenario today, but the din and the noise is just as loud as always.
It's also very noticeable that Paul Beelan and Vinnie Murphy are both very heavily bandaged for Dublin. Also, Charlie Redmond has gone to his normal left corner forward position, and Busy Farrell has gone to full forward. Niall Guyton in at right corner, and Vinnie Murphy out at left half. So the Dublin team has quite a lot changed from the one that's selected.
From the Emily Club in County Tipperary, Paddy Russell. And away we go. Who's going to play Louth or Carlow in the Leinster Championship semi-final? Well, already we have a free for Kildare. Martin Lynch with the free. And that very much to the right and wide. So 1 free and 1 wide for the Lily Whites. What will be very interesting here is whether or not John O'Leary is able to kick out these balls with substantial strength, because when I visited the Dublin training camp on Wednesday evening, he was unable to take the kick. It's a fine kick out, nothing wrong with the groin anyway so far. Martin Lynch. And again, obviously, with the breeze, they're trying to send in these high-lobbing missiles into Darragh McKevitt. And easily gathered by Kieran Walsh. It's a rather poor clearance, though, Declan Kerrigan. And he's fouled, and there's the first real opportunity for Kildare. That's the angle that's facing Niall Buckley, the captain of Kildare, and should be reasonably easy, particularly with the breeze behind it. And there it is. The opening score for Kildare in the Leinster Championship of 1994.
Bad mistake there by Kieran Walsh, having that ball under no pressure at all and went to punch past the ball when he should have been getting rid of it.
Not as good as the first time. But picked up, however, by Paul Curran, who just was unable to control it. So a line ball for Kildare. And again, it's Niall Buckley sending it in. Declan Kerrigan latching onto it. Kieran Walsh. This time using the punch pass rather than the fisted pass. Remember, Dublin are playing against a breeze in this first half. Paul Curran down to Desi Farrell. The Dublin attack doesn't look anything like the way it has lined out. As you know, playing all over the place. Back to Charlie Redmond. That's a rather optimistic ball, which is easily gathered by Sean McGovern. Dermot Deasy. And it seems, judging by the early moments, Colin, it's a fairly strong breeze. You wouldn't think it from up here.
Yes, I'd say it's a very, very strong breeze. The Kildare kicks are probably carrying 20 or 30 yards longer than normal. But Dublin are very good generally against the wind in carrying the ball. So it might be that big a problem to them.
And I'm finding it very difficult to judge that pass by Paul Curran. Line ball for Kildare. Knocked away from Johnny MacDonald. Well picked up, however. And Niall Buckley. Well, it isn't gone yet. It is now. So both Dublin and Kildare finding it difficult to cope with this summer breeze. And again, that breeze holding on to it, but Pat Gilroy this time runs onto it. Nobody there except Martin Lynch. Darragh McKevitt is coming out to meet him this time. Still Martin Lynch. And he got a blow there from Pat Gilroy. And Pat Russell is booking the big number 10 from the St. Vincent's club. Let's look at that again, Colin.
Martin Lynch carrying the ball, caught by hand by Pat Gilroy, harmless enough. I don't think there's too much wrong with Martin Lynch. I think the last game in the league, of course, between these two sides, there was quite a lot of incidents earlier in the year, and one would hope that it doesn't degenerate into that again.
Martin Lynch able to continue on. Paddy Russell, the referee, checking. Niall Buckley with the free. Despite the little barrage of abuse from the Dublin fans in Hill 16. He curled it this time with the freeze, but he just didn't allow enough for it. And the cheers come from the Dublin side.
Kildare can't really afford to miss any of these relatively easy frees.
It's a far better kick out this time. And for some holding there by Martin Lynch, or at least leaning up on his opponent. It's a free for Dublin. Dublin's intention to try and open the space in front of Desi Farrell and Charlie Redmond, finding it difficult to do it, particularly against the breeze. And Dublin forwards are roaming an awful lot, Colin.
Yes, and the Dublin playing a two-man full forward line, but the ball is not going to get in as far as them if Jack Sheedy kicks it like that.
Well picked up by Paddy Moran. To Paul Curran once more. And again, Martin Lynch is picking up the break. And again, it's pumped in. It's not a great ball, but Darren McKevitt is going to get there ahead of Dermot Deasy. Well, it worked out all right. Didn't look like it was. Noel Donlan. And he puts it over the bar. The left half back comes forward to show the forwards exactly where the goal posts are at the Hill 16 end. And Kildare lead by 2 points.
Martin Lynch spreading out the play by playing it across the field. I don't think that's what Darren McKevitt intended, but Noel Donlan caught it very well and kicked it over. Pat Gilroy should really have cut it out for Dublin.
So 7.5 minutes gone now in the first half. Kildare leading by 2 points. The loose ball picked up by Vinnie Murphy. Playing at supposedly full forward, but he's not, I can assure you. Anthony Rainbow, who was a wing back last year against Dublin, now cornerback. Knocked away by Kieran Walsh. Declan Kerrigan sending it into Johnny MacDonald. Well blocked down. And the referee says that's an unfair challenge for putting the boot in. The ball was free, but the referee keeping a tight control on things. So Niall Buckley, just inside the Dublin 45. This time it's curling, it's dropping in, oh, just inches wide. He's getting the hang of it though, Colm, I think.
Yeah, he's beginning to get closer. Niall Buckley would normally be quite accurate. I know they're not particularly easy frees, almost 45 metres out, but again, Kildare want to put Dublin under the sort of pressure that they have to. They want to be getting 7 or 8 points up by half time.
This first half is exactly what John O'Leary probably didn't want in terms of testing out the groin, because it's working fine. Paul Curran touched the ball on the ground but got away with it. The advantage swings back to Kildare. Anthony Rainbow to Niall Buckley to Sean McGovern. And again they're using the breeze to test out Darren McKevitt. Runs on to Declan Kerrigan. Darren McKevitt is there. Oh, great block down. Wonderful block down by Dermot Deasy. That had goal written all over it. Back to Dennis O'Connell. And that goes over the bar. Last year's captain and captain of Clane makes it 3 points for Kildare. But that was an anxious moment for Dublin because there was goal written all over it. And Dermot Deasy came to the rescue.
Long high ball in, and it caused a few problems here for the Dublin full back line. Declan Kerrigan had a chance of a goal, probably should have left it off to Darren McKevitt. Very well blocked by Dermot Deasy, but at least they recovered and got a point, which is very much disputed by the Dublin backs.
It's a fine kick out by John O'Leary. Punch clear. Well won by Declan Kerrigan. And just again to the right and wide. John O'Leary once more with the kick out. Breeze very much catching that one, knocked away by Niall Buckley. Johnny MacDonald unable to hold on to it. Old Donlan trying to get a boot to it. And eventually it comes clear to Noel Donlan once more. Martin Lynch. Again to the right and wide. And Kildare throwing away their opening 11 minutes in terms of scoring opportunities.
Well, been a bit ambitious there with a lot of these kicks, trying to score from very far out. Probably should be working the ball in closer, but Dublin have big problems around the middle of the field. They can't get any of these breaks.
So that's Kildare's 6th wide of this first half. And just almost 12 minutes gone now in the first half. Lovely fielding by Jack Sheedy. And Kildare really dominating, and yet not making use of that possession. Iba, shoulder, well tested by Darragh McKellan, and he came through with flying colours. Trying to open it up and find Vinnie Murphy. Good running on by McDeegan. Into the centre. That's a good ball for Paul Beelan. Trying to flick it on. Well picked up by Anthony Rainbow. And the Suncroft Club in County Kildare. It's a good intelligent ball. Somehow Kieran Walsh just got a hand to it. Johnny McDonald. Good effort, but again to the right and wide. 7 wides, 13 minutes gone, and Kildare lead by just 3 points. Well knocked down, but it's Martin Lynch that picks it up. Referee allowing the advantage. Good decision. Giving it to Graham Dunn. And Graham, from a very difficult angle and in a difficult position, puts it over the bar. It's the first real time he's actually touched the ball in this first half. And it's now Kildare 4 points.
Well, Martin Lynch, who's tried a few shots from long range, runs with that one. A good handoff there to Graham Dunn for his first touch and a very, very good score. Dublin still can't get the ball up the field. Kildare have had 11 scoring chances so far against none for Dublin.
You can put a lot of it down to the breeze, but surely not all of it, Colin.
No, Kildare are winning every single break around the middle of the field. I know it's relatively easy. They're able to come from behind and punch the ball down, but Dublin aren't getting into the proper positions.
Vinnie Murphy handing it straight to Sean McGovern. And there's a strong belief that Vinnie Murphy is far more dangerous in front of the goalmouth than he is out of wing forward. That's a compliment rather than knocking Vinnie Murphy. That's another line ball. Dr. Pat O'Neill, I think he's a little bit anxious, and rightly so at this stage. As Kildare swing it down into the Dublin half of the field once more. McGilroy. Again they try and open it up, this time towards Niall Guyton. And again the handling by Dublin leaves a lot to be desired. It's unusual for them. Paul Curran, however. Niall Guyton is available to his right. Tommy Carr, rather. Tommy Carr with the chance, and Tommy Carr with the first wide of the half for Dublin. It's the first time that they've come down to the Kildare goalmouth, and it took 15.5 minutes. Not a good kick out by any means for Christy Byrne. Picked up, however, by Anthony Rainbow. Kieran Walsh. Darragh McKellan. Oh, poor effort, because certainly that was, if he had 3 options, that was the last one he should have taken. He had players available. Niall Guyton has plenty of space, however. Available in the centre is Jack Sheedy. Decides against the pass. And Dublin's momentum seems to be upset. They're taking the wrong options, and their handling, surprisingly, leaves they're a bit shaky, Colm.
Yes, a lot of Dublin players have fumbled very, very easy balls, put them out over the line, and just generally messed them up. Niall Guyton moving out around the middle of the field to try and get the ball in. I think Dublin would feel that Dessie Farrell might have the beating of Davy Dalton if they couldn't get the ball inside. Davy Dalton has had a problem with a hamstring, but it's not happening yet because they can't get the ball up.
Declan Kerrigan did well here. He avoided a fairly strong Dublin surge there. Got away with it. This is good play by Kildare now. Martin Lynch, this time it's straight in through. He finally got it on target. A 91 All-Star from Flame makes it now Kildare 5 points and Dublin yet to register.
Very well played by Declan Kerrigan on to Sean McGovern, and Niall Buckley neatly gets inside, and again Kildare plenty of men over. A very good point for Martin Lynch.
.5 minutes gone now in this first half. Kildare continue to dominate. Graham Dunn. Noel Donlan from the Round Towers Club of Kildare Town. Back to Dunn. Lovely play by Kildare. He has the potential, they say, in Kilcock and all over the Lily-White County, and they're quietly confident that he can do more to Dublin.
While Dublin in a bit of disarray at the moment, Graham Dunn picking up that break at midfield given to Noel Donlan, who works it through and back to Dunn, kicks a great point, but again Dublin not able to get any breaks in the middle.
Interesting at the far side, Colm, Dublin are thinking about introducing a substitute, Paul O'Neill.
Well, the Dublin half-back line are not getting in front of their men for these breaks, and I suppose maybe they'll be thinking of putting him in there, one of the wing-back positions.
That's Pat O'Neill talking to another O'Neill. That's going to be another line ball. This time for Kildare. This is a surprise move, really, as they bring in Brian Steins, that is, of course, and going off is number 9, Paul Beelan. It looked like Pat O'Neill there, or Paul O'Neill for a moment, but it's Brian Steins that's in, and Brian has it. Davy Dalton leaving it for a colleague, Martin Lynch. Darragh McKevitt and Dermot Deasy, and McKevitt has it. Well judged. Back outside to Graham Dunn. This time it's not going to reach over John O'Leary's crossbar. So Brian Steins is in for Dublin. Big lad from Ballyboden, St. Enda's.
Of course, Brian has a lot of experience of the Australian rules game, only recently back in Dublin, very highly thought of by the Dublin management.
Well won by Pat Gilroy. Mind you, he went up unchallenged. Mick Deegan to Keith Barr. And he showed a little bit too much of it. A great play by Martin Lynch. Excellent. Down towards Niall Buckley, back to Lynch. Coming forward from centre half back is Glenn Ryan. They're playing with a little bit more confidence now. To Dennis O'Connell. And the finish didn't match the warm-up to it, because it was good play, interplay by Kildare, but the finish left a lot to be desired.
Again, a mistake by Dublin in handling the ball there. Keith Barr with the ball under no pressure and tipped it too high on his toe.
The breaking ball comes down. Well won, however, by Brian Steins. Mick Deegan looking for a colleague loose and free, and there's nobody really available. But he gets the free. Niall Buckley and Jack Sheedy getting involved for no reason. And Niall Buckley is going to be booked by the referee.
Well, Mick Deegan looking for somebody to give the ball into the Dublin full forward. Nobody running clear. Niall Buckley pulls him down rugby style. Referee quite correct in taking his name for that.
Kenny Murphy telling one of his colleagues to give him a little bit of space as Charlie lines this up. Now the booing, which is a sad feature of this first half, doesn't seem to bother Charlie Redmond. That's a great kick against the breeze, and Dublin get their very first score after 22 and a half minutes. It's been a long time coming for Hill 16.
Brilliant free by Charlie Redmond there, how to settle Dublin down a bit, into the wind over 45 metres. Brian Steins has got a couple of balls since he has come on, so he's made a little bit of a difference around the middle of the field.
Christy Byrne's kick-outs leave a little bit to be desired, considering that he has the breeze. This time it comes straight to Pat Gilroy, picked up by Vinnie Murphy. Christy Byrne has come out of his goal mouth. That's good defending. Brian Fahy. Anthony Rainbow once more. He's doing a lot of good work at left cornerback. Keith Barr. Available. Desi Farrell. Vinnie Murphy, but it wasn't a good pass. Noel Donlan giving it down to Niall Buckley. And the game now beginning to warm up, thankfully. Martin Lynch. Dara McKevitt's jersey being pulled by Dermot Deasy as he tried to move out of the way. Still Martin Lynch. They want to get rid of it. Back to Niall Buckley. And Dublin are great players here. They have to try and open up this Dublin defence from here on in. And they lose our possession because they're holding on to it. That's always a fault with Kildare somehow. Jack Sheedy. Well won. Davy Dalton. He's fouled by Desi Farrell. That's a free for Kildare. Glenn Ryan with this free. Aimed at Johnny MacDonald. Johnny has picked up an injury in that race with Kieran Walsh. And Johnny has gone down and seemed to be immediately calling for attention. And that right thigh, which is heavily bandaged, seems to be causing him a problem. So Mick O'Dwyer, John Crofton, and Paddy Donoghue consulting. Because Kildare now have to introduce a substitute. That's Ken Doyle that's thinking about coming in, as Johnny MacDonald has gone off. So in comes Ken Doyle. He was a potential candidate for the wing forward position from Allenwood. So Johnny rather disgusted to be gone after 25 minutes of the first half.
Well, Johnny MacDonald in the sprint, and obviously he's suffering from a hamstring problem, and it goes on him in that sprint out. Kildare, the rest of the Kildare forward line very lax to let that ball go over the end line. It just barely got over the line and nobody chased it.
Pat Gilroy just getting a little bit of attention, but he seems to be fine.
Dublin have weathered a little bit of a storm for the last 10 minutes and are playing a bit better now.
Aimed at Jack Sheedy. Well gathered, given to Paul Curran. Pat Gilroy is available in the centre. Desi Farrell knocking it out for Vinnie Murphy. Ryan Geiger is way over the far side calling for it. Half blocked down, picked up by Brian Steins. Given back to Charlie Redmond. Bursting his way forward, trying to get the right foot. Well blocked down by Seamus Dowling. That's great play by Kildare. Maybe it's the defence of Kildare will inspire the forwards of Kildare. Davy Dalton and Sauce Dowling there on the full back line doing very well under pressure. Jack Sheedy. And the Dublin midfield seems to have come to life at last. Tommy Carr. Ben Ryan staying with him. And Glenn being accused of holding on to Tommy Carr. So it's a free for the Dublin.
Jack Sheedy beginning to get into the game a little bit for Dublin. Martin Lynch was much the better of the first 15 or 20 minutes there. He's beginning to win a bit more possession. Paul Curran coming into the game a bit more for Dublin, and that was good work by Tommy Carr carrying that ball under pressure.
So Charlie Redmond with this free. This one is a little bit nearer than that great 45 kick that he sent over earlier. Bends it in. Oh, lovely point by Charlie Redmond. The fearless man is doing very well. 2 points to Charlie and 2 points to Dublin.
Christy Byrne's kick-outs for Kildare have been very bad with the wind, and he's want to improve significantly because he's going to have a big problem against the wind the second half.
That actually is his best one so far. Well gathered by Sean McGovern, giving it to Martin Lynch, who's brought down by Paul Curran. Paul says he was going for the ball. Referee Paddy Russell says no. Another opportunity for Kildare. 28 minutes gone now in the first half. They've already had 10 wides in this first period. This looks a very good one indeed. Niall Buckley, the captain, gets his second point of this Leinster Championship match and extends Kildare's lead now to 5 points. Steins knocked away by Sean McGovern. Half blocked by Keith Barr. Runs on for Ken Doyle. Giving it inside to Dennis O'Connell. Difficult angle. And Kildare have this inability, seemingly, Colin, to create space where it counts most in front of goal. They do a lot of messing out in the wings.
Yeah, a lot of short passing there, but they were never creating any space. Not enough running off the ball 30 or 40 yards away from the man in possession to give them the option to pass long. And it's going to be a bit of a problem in the second half, but Dublin have their backs to the wall at the moment.
Just over 5 minutes now to the half-time whistle. Good fielding by Pat Gilroy once more. One of 2 players booked in this match so far. Niall Buckley doing a good job as not on wing forward, but midfielder come wing back as well. Plenty of Dublin players. One of them is Pat Gilroy. Giving it outside to Paddy Moran from Whitehall, Colmcills. That's a fairly high challenge from Dennis O'Connell. Desi Farrell knocking it down for Niall Buckley. Brian Steins did very well. Tommy Carr has gone inside. Vinnie Murphy. Desi Farrell is outside. Vinnie doesn't see too many options. Drops it in. Christy Byrne, there's plenty of players calling for it. Noel Donlan. Anxiety in the Kildare defence. That really should have been just 1 player's and 1 player's only. Ken Doyle chasing after it. And Paddy Moran escorting it out over the line. Kieran Walsh to take it. Brian Steins underneath it. Sean McGovern trying to knock it away. It's picked up by Keith Barr. Dennis O'Connell himself having a right old tussle. Desi Farrell. Referee gives the free to Dublin. Just 4 minutes left now in this first half. Last thing Kildare now need to do is concede an easy score, particularly a goal at this stage. Charlie Redmond with the free. This time it's outside the 45. Hits it well, but hits it to the left and wide. Dublin's second wide of the first half.
I suppose that will be Dublin's biggest advantage for the second half, that anything within about 60 yards of the goal will be kickable for Charlie Redmond.
Sometimes, however, of course, a team that plays such a short passing game, playing against the breeze, is almost an advantage. Style guide. Brian Steins has done very well since he came on. Pat Gilroy. Tommy Carr is calling for it, but Gilroy decides to try an old-fashioned Gary Owen. Tommy Carr picks it up. Vinnie Murphy. Desi Farrell. And there's a point. His first of the afternoon. And it comes just 3 minutes before half-time. And Dublin people getting a little bit more confident now because of that scoreline.
Well, a chance for a point from Pat Gilroy, very much up in the air. Again, Tommy Carr doing quite well into Vinnie Murphy, and again, Desi Farrell on his left, but fairly easy for him. Dublin playing a lot better now the last 5 or 10 minutes.
And here come Dublin once more. Niall Guy giving it to Brian Steins, and he has created an awful lot of space since he was introduced. Now he's going for a score. I don't think it was such a good idea. The scoreline remains the same, 7 points to 3. 2 minutes to the half-time whistle.
Brian Steins should have kept travelling with that ball. The whole area in front of the goal completely opened up in front of him, and he could have kept going right in.
Right down the middle. Glenn Ryan picking up the break. It's a good ball for Darragh McKevitt. But the man who judged it best of all was Kieran Walsh. It's Pat Gilroy. He's operating more or less as a third midfielder. Oops. Deegan just taking his eye off it there for a moment. Pat Gilroy with a fair shoulder. Jack Sheedy. It's not great football, to say the least, but it is very interesting so far. Pat O'Neill just having a word there with Pat Gilroy. I think Pat has just picked up a little knock.
Pat Gilroy has done quite well. He's moved out around the middle of the field and he's got a lot of possession. The substitution of Brian Steins made a big difference too for Dublin.
It's another free for Dublin. They'll be quite happy to get another score before that half-time. Keith Barr is the man that's going to take it. Aimed at Vinnie Murphy. Coming inside on the blind side is Charlie Redmond. Back to Vinnie Murphy. Can he get the boot to it? Right across the face of the goal. Desi Farrell chasing after it, but unable to make it.
Dublin won't be too unhappy at all now going in 4 points behind. They haven't played very well, and the wind, if anything, has got stronger during the first half, so 4 points isn't much of a lead really for Kildare.
Kieran Walsh. Well, the idea was good in fairness. Didn't quite work out, and Graham Dunn latches onto it. Good effort, and it goes straight over the bar. That's a great point for Kildare, and Graham Dunn gets his second of the afternoon.
Well, a bad mistake by Kieran Walsh. You know, the primary rule of any back is get the ball in your hand and not to try anything fancy. He tried to flick it across to Mick Deegan, intercepted, and ends up over the bar and gives Kildare a 5-point lead.
And the referee, Paddy Russell, calls a halt after just 35.5 minutes of play. And that point by Graham Dunn sets up the second half splendidly for the Lily Whites. But can they keep the lead? They lead at half-time by 5 points. And a match that Dublin, well, indeed, as Colm says, be reasonably satisfied considering they're playing against the breeze. Half-time score, Kildare 8 points, Dublin 3. Here, lads, working on the building site across the way from us at the Cusack stand side, and you can see that Kildare have outnumbered, I think, the Dublin supporters here this afternoon. It's a match really that hasn't got to life yet, Colm O'Rourke, but to maybe the second half.
Yeah, the standard was quite poor there the first half. Dublin playing particularly badly, and I suppose from their point of view, the fact that they have played so bad and they're still only 5 points behind with significant wind advantage to come, they should be happy enough in that particular position. I think that Kildare are going to have a problem on their kick-out this half, and the other big advantage, as I said before, from a Dublin point of view, is that Charlie Redmond would be able to kick a lot of the frees from sort of 50, 60 yards inwards, something that Niall Buckley wasn't able to do for Kildare the first half. But still all to play for. Kildare will have to show that they have the fighting spirit and heart to hold on to this lead. It always favours the team in front, no matter what the wind is. Dublin are going to have to chase and they're going to leave gaps at the back, so Kildare might be able to break forward. I'm sure that Martin Lynch will lie back as an extra defender now for Kildare this half, and then they'll try and break out quickly out defence. See, Jack Sheedy has gone to right half forward for Dublin with Pat Gilroy and Brian Steins now a new midfield.
So no changes on either side for the start of this second half, as referee Pat Russell waits for the Dublin backroom team to go to the dugout. 35 minutes to decide who plays Louth or Carlow in the next round, the semi-final, in fact, of the Leinster Championship. And the general consensus here at half-time amongst the public is that Dublin have all the advantages going into this second half. So the second half underway. Dennis O'Connell. And that's going to be the first free of the second half.
Breaking down here, Brian Steins picks up the mother and father of O'Wallop from Dennis O'Connell, but fair play gets up and gets on with.
Loose ball picked up by Glenn Ryan. And the referee gives a decision against Glenn, who was charging with the ball. And that's exactly what Kildare didn't want for the start of the second half. Substantial difference in the number of wides each. Kildare had 12 wides in the first half, Dublin had 3. Charlie Redmond with his first free of the second half. And that's an easy one. That's 3 points for Charlie Redmond in this match. Much appreciated by Hill 16.
That's exactly what Kildare didn't want to do, is to give away an easy point at the start of the second half. They really should be 10 or 12 points up, considering the amount of chances that they've had. Now they're only 4, and they're going to have to sweat it out.
Kick out towards Pat Gilroy, added to by Martin Lynch, and Dennis O'Connell picks it up. Coming forward, Brian Fahey from Leixlip. Brian Guyton staying with him. It's a good ball. It's picked up straight off the ground, however, by Ken Doyle. That's a free for Dublin. The hop pulls them on. Vinnie Murphy is the one that has it. And Vinnie is deemed to have picked the ball off the ground. So free for Kildare. Only Darren McHevitt for Kildare is inside the lily white 13-metre line. And then Ryan rightly is looking to know if there's anybody free, because they all seem to be marked. Kieran Walsh, half blocked down. Could have been charging by Paddy Moran. He says no, Mick Deegan has it. Up towards Vinnie Murphy. And chasing after it is Charlie Redmond. Brian Fahey with him. Niall Guyton is behind him, now beside him, and cuts inside. Back to Vinnie Murphy, scoreable. And it drops dangerously in. And back there is Martin Lynch. There's some holding by Glenn Ryan, which Tommy Carr was looking to the referee for a little bit of help and assistance. Brian Steins, meanwhile, has it. Sends it back in. Oh, and Charlie got a fist to it. Christy Byrne was alert to it. Gilroy followed through. That's a line ball. And already the Dublin supporters getting a little bit more confident now.
Good save there from Christy Byrne. Dublin piling on a lot of pressure, winning the ball around the middle of the field just as Kildare did in the first half.
The referee just consulting with his umpires because Tommy Carr, I think the incident there where he was fouled, just a brief consultation.
Sideline which is very much scoreable now.
Vinnie Murphy, but the referee has been contacted there by the linesman. As they say in racing parlance, the white flag was raised, and I think it has to do with Vinnie Murphy taking a kick from well within the permitted distance in terms of the sideline. He was 10, 15, well, 12 metres, I suppose, in from the sideline. The referee has disallowed the score, and he wants a hot ball. So the linesman perfectly within his rights, as Vinnie took advantage of a few metres. Martin Lynch and referee and Niall Guyton hitting out there, and Vinnie Murphy getting involved verbally, and Martin Lynch being told to get up by the referee. And tempers and becoming a little bit frayed, tension creeping into the match. Charlie Redmond take the free. This booing certainly should be discouraged as much as possible, as Charlie sweeps it across the face of the goal. And the umpire says that the Kildare man was the last one to touch it. So 45 for Dublin. Well, Charlie did a remarkable thing from a 45 in the first half, putting it over the bar against the breeze. Now he has the wind to his backs, and that's what he's facing. Puts it over the bar. A fine kick by Charlie Redmond. That's 4 points for the fingerless man. And Dublin get a little bit closer. Just 3 points between the sides. First kick out of the second half for Christy Byrne. Knocked away, but it comes to Dennis O'Connell. Niall Guyton, Niall Buckley rather, the captain of Kildare. Paul Curran chasing after, making room for Ken Doyle. As from here on in, the Kildare seem to have problems, and they've just lost it. They're able to build it up, but they're not able to get the final touch. Sideline ball for Kildare. Niall Buckley dropping it in. John O'Leary underneath it. Brian Steins. But if he keeps this up, and if Dublin survive this particular encounter, I think Brian Steins will be fighting for his place.
Very much so. It's very well taken there by John O'Leary. It may look simple enough, but It was a very awkward ball to deal with.
Well won back, but couldn't hold on to it, Paddy Moran. Brian Stein's touching the ball along the ground, but Paddy Moran has it this time. Lashing it back into the Kildare half. Davy Dalton, backing with Vinnie Murphy. Out towards Tommy Carr. He lofts it, but is it tailing? And the umpires consult, and the umpires say wide. It didn't seem to bend sufficiently, in fairness. And Christy Byrne happy to take the kick out from the 5-metre rectangle. That's Dublin's 4th wide of the match. 9 minutes gone in the second half. Jack Sheedy. Christy Byrne. Davy Dalton. They're playing a little bit too close for comfort, in fairness. Sauce Dowling. But Davy, who did well. Oh. Well, that's a total hospital pass if I ever saw one. And it's given the ball and possession to Dublin. Well blocked down by Declan Kerrigan. Paddy Moran. Paul Curran just taking his eye off it. Dennis O'Connell coming in to challenge. And Paul giving it straight away to Noel Donlan. Dublin, they're in sufficient numbers. Mick Deegan. Dermot Deasy. That has to be a free. Pat Gilroy, right along the sideline, coming in. I think Pat was aiming for Hill 16 rather than for the goal post on that occasion. 23,508 people here at this match today. By no means packed to capacity. And 23,500 is rather a disappointing attendance, Colin.
Very much so. I suppose all the hype about the game in New York was taken away, but very little atmosphere around the ground, even up to 10 or 15 minutes before the game.
The referee has stopped play because Davy Dalton, Vinnie Murphy were having a little bit of a tussle, an entanglement. And referee Pat Russell wants the end of it.
And Vinnie and Davy Dalton getting to know each other a little bit. I think the referee could have let the kick out go ahead. It was harmless enough. I'm sure Christy Byrne, he had got a good kick out that time. He'd been happy enough to see it go.
And he has another one. This time right into the middle. Kildare have it in the form of Glenn Ryan. Martin Lynch right beside him. This has potential, it must be said. Still Martin Lynch. He needs support. Met by Paddy Moran. Goes it alone where he had sufficient numbers. Darren McKevitt surely fouling the Dublin man, but referee plays the advantage. Again, good referee. Kieran Walsh. No messing by Kieran. Straight. Oh.